Welcome, Pisces, to your Sagittarius full moon 2 week forecast for the ascendant, the sun, or the moon. On May the 31st, the second full moon of the month, a blue moon, occurs in the free spirited fire sign of Sagittarius. We can talk about full moons from a general viewpoint, but each one has its own unique identity. On the screen is this one, but from a Pisces viewpoint. By the end of the video, I'm going to unpack this and you'll have a clearer picture of what's upcoming in terms of your energy, work, relationships, or finances. I'm astrologer Patrick Arundel. A very warm welcome. If you've yet to subscribe to my channel, please do so now to help it to continue to thrive. But please also click or tap the bell notification symbol. Sagittarius has a real appreciation of space. It could be personal space, it can be emotional space. It doesn't like to be held in and limited where it's not enjoying it. At the present time, the king of the sky, the sun, is in the part of your scope to do with your emotions, which the moon rules, but also where you live, how you live there and with who, and your, if you like, environment. And the moon at the very top of the chart, therefore the most powerful player in the whole illustration, is going to make it much more difficult for you to disguise your emotions over the next 2 weeks for good or bad. So even if you're someone who's usually quite reserved, there may be times when your feelings could float into view. And what can amplify that is the sign of Sagittarius can be very frank, but also it's ruled by Jupiter, which happens to be your traditional ruler too, but it's the sole ruler of the sign of Sagittarius, and that can amplify or magnify however we're feeling. So in that 10th house, that can be to do with your work, could be to do with being the leader or a member of a family unit. It may be to do with being in touch with how you relate to the connections you have in the wider world. But what makes this particular event a little bit of a hot one is the role of Mars. Because through the last 10 days of the month of May, Mars, which is in the very single-minded Taurus, which can be very much about how we feel about money, our self-worth and values, but for you is in the very direct third house of quick communication, has been in a very tense standoff with Pluto, the planet of power. And there may be something relating to your past or coming up from the depths of your being, which has played out in a more visible way, which you may have found a little uncomfortable. Because fourth house energy is where we need to be secure, safe, protected. And it's not about being very open, even if the host, Gemini, is about quick communication. So you may have recently been more attuned to being in touch with people that you know very well, you're very familiar with, perhaps family members, maybe siblings, which Gemini can be very much about. So there's been a lot of activity around your home and emotional situation, but also there may have been tensions if old issues, Pluto in the 12th, in that very raw right angle with Mars, may have seen you much more outspoken. And therefore, as we go into this event, your feelings or how you are may just, even if it's not uh, the reality as far as others are concerned, you may feel more exposed, which could feel a bit uncomfortable. But then the reverse could be true. You may be particularly content in ventilating through the fieriness of Sagittarius something that you feel has been out of kilter and needs to be told. But when it comes to the classic work-life balance scenario, which most people are desperately trying to get right these days, and probably at times not quite getting there, because there are so many demands, mainly because of technology. Life is much more complex than it perhaps used to be, where there were very defined roles, but it's much more flexible. And this is a very flexible lunation because it's in mutable signs. So things can shift. So, for example, you could get offered a job, but it may mean relocating. or it may mean traveling to the job, or it may mean working from home, or it may mean that you have been working from home and they want you to go back to work, which you're not really wanting to do. But whatever the politics that are going on in your situation, whether they're clashes between different members of your family or your peer group, Mars is going to see you much more outspoken because Mars is in a direct quincunx with the moon. And it's emerging from that time of really telling it as it is about some sensitive old issues. Also, we do have uh, Saturn, the planet of limitations, squaring Venus, the planet of romance and money. And the other one to tell you about is Uranus is in a T square with the North Node in your sign, South Node in Virgo. So something may be shifting around your emotional home or family situation that's impacting on you individually, relationships, and also your connection to the world through work or just generally. And so, because of the mutability of all those energies, that gives us a little bit of a clue about how to deal with this. Because being a mutable sign, you understand this by just flexing. It's not about being rigid. If we're rigid, we create resistance. Resistance creates pressure, and that causes an issue. So I'm going to summarize those four areas of energy: work, relationships, and finances next for you, Pisces. But if you would like to order your personal horoscopes, I've reduced the price. It used to be for years, if you got two, 30% off, it's now you get three for the price of one. The one you pay for is your life roadmap report, helps us to understand the patterns that are played out in our lives so far, get a more intimate understanding of those and how to work with those energies better future forwards. Free, your 12 months transit forecast, but also your draconic soul analysis. If your North Node natally is late in Pisces or early in Aries, your draconic chart won't be that much different. But if it isn't, or then that can mean your draconic chart looks very different. And it's a brilliant way of looking at life, astrology, and ourselves in a completely fresh but enlightening way. Please see the link below. If you've yet to watch your June monthly forecast, they are published. Please check that out. And also your Mars in Taurus 6-week forecast, that's live as well. If you'd like to work with me one-to-one, it'd be a great pleasure. Please see my testimonials below. And if you've yet to take advantage of my free daily written horoscope fired to your device each morning for your early day celestial pit stop, you can sign up for that below too. So to summarize, I think this can be a sensitive couple of weeks, but it's coming on the back of something that has been just bubbling away in the depths that needed to come out recently. So there may have been some secrets shared. Maybe you were very bold in your observation on someone that you found difficult to be around. Uh, I feel that your voice can be heard over this event. It's important to feel that even around your emotions, that you can still convey that to people who really matter. So, as far as your energy is concerned, if you are feeling a bit tender and vulnerable, that will have an impact. As far as work's concerned, I think that there could be a change, and that change may require to be very flexible, go with it. But just letting you know, despite Pluto having been in that square with Mars, it's actually in a terrific link with Uranus, the path of fortune, a terrific link with the Sun, and Saturn in a great link with the Sun as well. So if you're someone where you can be yourself in a natural way, but also use your depth of talents, I think you can make progress. In terms of your romantic situation with Venus and Jupiter, your traditional ruler, coming together in the second week of June in a very rare alliance, that's looking very promising, whatever your situation. But in an existing relationship, if one of you has a heavy job and the other one doesn't, it's about perhaps trying to support each other a little bit better by not sort of judging where you might not quite get it. It's trying to understand what you do for each other would be very beneficial. As far as finance is concerned, I wouldn't be too speculative with your resources at the start of this journey because of Saturn in the second of everyday money, clashing with Venus, the planet of money, in the fifth house of speculation. However, I think that your prospects can definitely look up as we go deeper into June. It's been a real pleasure being with you, Pisces. All the best, and look forward to seeing you again soon.